Oh, Walter, you had me at post-consumer. I think Walter's in the wrong agency. I mean, the way he records everything is deeply disturbing. So this is going to be a little bit of a mood swing. Apollo 13 was the 7th manned space mission by NASA and was also a great movie starring Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, and Ed Harris. And you all remember the iconic scene when one of the oxygen tanks exploded and the computers went wacky and power was going off. And Tom Hanks said the iconic line, "Houston, we have a problem." And what happens next is all these guys scramble in mission control, and they talk about how there's no viable way to get the astronauts home. They didn't have a contingency plan. They needed to improvise. And what's great about the movie is they all instantly, in this moment of crisis, started working as a team. One group was given the assignment literally to put a square product into a round peg, and they did it. Another group were told to work on the power source, and they did it. And they methodically worked toward a solution. As they were doing that, one of the top people at NASA showed up and said, "This could be the worst disaster in the history of NASA." And Ed Harris coolly responds, "I believe this is going to be our finest hour." And when I think about the months ahead for the women and men who work at EPA, I believe this is going to be your finest hour as EPA career staff. You are all going to figure out how to navigate a new administration, which, for starters, does not acknowledge the risk of climate change. From what we know about public statements, it will be a challenging time at EPA. And I know after all these wonderful, joyful remarks and cake and coffee, the cautious thing and the wise thing for me to do today is just recite a long list of our joint accomplishments, thank a bunch of people for their hard work, and quote Eleanor Roosevelt. That's my routine. But I respect all of you too much to do that. Beth Siltani helped me count up, and during my 7-year tenure here, I delivered 252 speeches, outside and inside. And I want to talk to you today about why each and every one of you need to be the firewall that protects 40 years of environmental protection. Each of you, as EPA career professionals, are in the best position in the entire country to make sure we have clean air and clean water. And this is not a partisan statement. This is not intended to be disrespectful to the incoming administration. But when you match up the policy positions that we've heard and the statutory responsibilities of EPA, it is reasonable to be concerned. And we can't just all sit back and worry. So I've been thinking, what would I do if I were in your shoes, a career professional at EPA in the year ahead? You'll be shocked to hear I've come up with 6 specific ideas for you. Number 1, never be a part of a decision at EPA that will compromise public health or the environment. Now, rarely is it black and white. These situations are always shades of gray. But if your radar goes up and you find that you're tossing and turning, trying to fall asleep at night, and you're worried about something, you should take notice of that. You should talk to people whose opinion you trust at EPA. You should be brave. You should speak up, even if your voice quivers. You should become familiar with the federal whistleblower law. And don't rely on the familiar line, "We will leave it to the states." It's certainly the job of the states and the Commonwealths to protect the environment, but it's also our job. Second, never do anything unethical. One of the things that impressed me about working in the Obama administration is my first few weeks at EPA, all the regional administrators and other political appointees were summoned to Washington. We had our first meeting at the White House, and a big chunk of that meeting was someone from the White House Ethics Office, or I'm sorry, the White House Counsel's Office, talking to all of us about how there can be absolutely no ethical conflicts within the Obama administration. And in fact, if you think about the last 8 years, there have been none. And what this lawyer said to us is, if you're ever asked to do anything that doesn't feel right to you, call me up. Here's my cell phone, here's my desk, call me any hour, and I will guide you through it. I have to say, when I worked for the state of New York, no one ever gave me that speech. And I didn't need to call this guy, but it sent such a good message to all of us. And I think for you here in Region 2, Mitch Cohen is our ethics official, and if you are ever in a position like that, third, pay attention to the national news, and in particular, what may happen with the EPA budget. Don't just read articles your friends send you on Facebook. You've got to read reputable news outlets. You have to subscribe to your local newspaper, and we know journalism is really in the decline. Local newspapers are laying off staff. Remember the little Bridgegate story? That was broken by the Bergen Record, the local transportation reporter. So support local media. 4, put your members of Congress phone number into your phone. And while you cannot speak on behalf of the entire agency, you can exercise your First Amendment rights and speak as an individual to your elected representatives. And I have to tell you, members of Congress don't pay a lot of attention to petitions and cookie-cutter emails. I mean, I've gotten so many cookie-cutter emails, and when they all say the same, we just put them in a folder. But when people write personal emails or phone calls, we all pay attention. And members of Congress do listen to their constituents. Number 5, get involved in EPA's special emphasis programs. We've got a bunch of really good ones. I think we should get involved. And I especially encourage you to support the LGBTQ program. This is not a great time for our gay, lesbian, and transgender brothers and sisters. We will soon have a vice president who promoted a law in his state as governor that would have allowed businesses not to serve gay, lesbian, and transgender people. After a storm of public criticism, he backed down. That is astonishing to me. We need our elected officials to embrace diversity and not discriminate against anyone. My gay, lesbian, and transgender friends are feeling very vulnerable right now. Many communities are feeling vulnerable. And we have an opportunity here in Region 2 to offer support and make sure that Region 2 is a welcoming community to everyone. Next, I don't think there's going to be a successful effort to repeal the major federal laws, but there may be an effort to gut EPA budget, including cutting staff. What's your best response? Join the union. You cannot make public statements on behalf of the agency, but the union can. And don't just join the union, but become active in the union. Help shape the message. And I want to urge all of you to remember why you came to work here in the first place. You came because you cared about environmental protection. And over the last 7 years, we've really got a lot done. I know for many of the division directors, each of the 7 years probably felt like a dog or cat year. So I've essentially been here 49 years. I'm proud that when Walter just told me I'm the longest serving Region 2 regional administrator. And I know that I pushed everyone hard. I know that. And I did it because the stakes are so high. You know, EPA is criticized for being so strong on environmental protection. Well, we live in a world where drinking water is degraded, air quality is not great, climate change is real, and all of us need to make every single day count. I'm so happy of the work we've done on getting PCBs out of New York City public schools, cleaning up the Hudson River, getting the rot out on the Passaic River. The work we've done just here in New York City. 8 million people live in New York City. They get their drinking water from the Catskills. Our Clean Water Division is working hard to protect drinking water. On Superfund, this is interesting. In the past 30 years, the whole life of Superfund, there was only one federal Superfund site in all of New York City. We added 3 in the last 7 years. We've done a lot of work in Puerto Rico. Carmen talked about it. Still a lot more work to do in Puerto Rico. We protected the Clean Water SRF from being used for a bridge. We stood up for the people of Hoosick Falls who were not informed that for a long time they were drinking contaminated water with PFOA. We took the audacious step of simply telling them the truth. And this is way too wonky, but I love no discharge zones. These are the petitions that make sure that boats don't discharge sewage into water bodies. From 1976 to 2003, Region 2 did 9 no discharge zones. Well, we did 9 in the past 7 years. So that's really good metrics, thanks to Chris and Clean Water Division and others. We reduced air toxics at Tonawanda by 90%. We also had incredible sadnesses. We all worked hard on the response to Hurricane Sandy. Many of us worked on the tragic situation in St. John and the USCI when the Esmond family, they were on vacation, were poisoned with methyl bromide. That was one illegal pesticide application. And I'm so sorry to say that today this family, the 2 teenage boys and the dad, have permanent neurological damage. They're in wheelchairs. The boys will never finish school. So if anyone questions the importance of strong environmental regulation, we should point to that. We're still dealing with the Zika crisis. Almost over 37,000 confirmed cases of Zika in Puerto Rico and 900 in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And Puerto Rico is having just major economic problems. I went to Puerto Rico a lot because the problems there were so severe. And the governor there convinced me that if EPA did a little bit of work, it really would have a disproportionate major impact. So do what you can as Region 2 employees to support Puerto Rico. Do details, shift resources. If you've got 2 extra hours in a week, call Carmen, ask her what she needs help with. Please focus on Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands because we can do more. Here's my advice to all of you going forward. First, take care of one another. Go to the movies a lot. I recommend La La Land. And anytime there's a musical or a romantic comedy, go see it. Don't isolate yourself. And rely on the savvy leadership we have in place already in Region 2. EPA has accomplished so much, and it's because of the career staff that have been here for decades. I really want to praise the work of George Pavlou. I'm so happy George really welcomed me, showed me and Lisa the ropes. Catherine McCabe continues as an extraordinary DRA. We are so fortunate as a region to have 2 amazing DRAs. All the division directors, Mary Mears, Walter Mugden, Dory LaPasta, Eric Schaub, John Filippelli, Rich Nana, Anahita Williamson, Javier Laureano, and Carmen Guerrero. These are amazing people who will help us navigate the months and years ahead. I want to thank Pat Evangelista who was my partner in crime and so many important issues. And I just love that EPA has special assistants. I didn't know about that till I got here, but I really got to know each and every special assistant during long car rides, and we could not do the work without them. So I want to publicly thank Lena Rout, Becky Ofran, Kevin Hurley, Enck Palaka, Rob Albee, Steve Correa, Andrew Fessler, and our current amazing special assistant, Tom Angeli, who's been just... So when I started, I don't know who, but someone had the feeling that I needed 2 special assistants my first year, not 1, and that was really good advice. Lena was my first special assistant along with Claudia Gutierrez. And Claudia is simply amazing. We never let her leave the RA's office. She became our Caribbean advisor, and she is a force of nature. She staffed me when I was on the President's Task Force on Puerto Rico, which was a great honor. And I remember we had a big meeting in the White House one day. Where's Claudia? Oh, hi. So we had a big meeting in the White House one day. I had to do meetings at headquarters in the morning. Claudia went over early, and I got to the White House, and Claudia has this gaggle of people around her, and she's directing them. Where to set things up, who to do the agenda, and I'm like, great, now you're running the White House. And we're lucky that the White House didn't steal her, because they wanted to. I want to thank my friends with FedCap. I don't know if they're here, but I worked a little late sometimes. Milton is here. So Milton, please convey this thanks to you and your colleagues, April, and Don. I mean, they do back-breaking work, and if you're not best friends with the FedCap folks on your floor, you're missing out. They are a lot of fun, and I'm so grateful for the hard work they do here in the building. The administrative professionals in the RA's office, Maureen Hickey, absolutely extraordinary. She's Miss Jackie Grayson, who I worship, Lynn Corey, thank you for your help with today, and then the amazing Nancy Beck, who retired recently. Where's Nancy? She was here. She was. Well, Nancy recently retired, and she's moving to Florida, and she worked here for 27 years, and she was incredible. I'm almost done. I can't say much about Lisa Plevin. Lisa Plevin was the best chief of staff I ever could have imagined. She had a really hard job. She essentially ran the region, she ran me, she took care of every detail. I mean, I got to do the fun stuff, like running out and giving speeches and meeting community leaders and having businesses yell at me. Lisa kept it all together. At great personal sacrifice. If Lisa was in the private sector, she'd be getting paid 3 times what we paid her. And I think we didn't know each other when we started. Lisa really knew New Jersey. I really knew New York. And I think Lisa and I will be dear, dear friends for the rest of our lives. And I thank Lisa. Husband of 34 years, Mark Dunley, who did the amazing thing. We have this really nice life in upstate New York. You know, we were not really planning to make a change, and Mark followed me to New York City, and now I am following him back to Rensselaer County in a few weeks. He was just my rock. He was interested and involved and just so supportive. And also, my journalist son, Reed Dunley, is here. And the deal with Reed is he moved to Brooklyn, he moved to New York City a year before we did. And so my friends were like, did you just take this job because you wanted to follow Reed? And the answer is yes. So I'm so happy that Reed and Mark are here. So what's next? Mark and I are leaving Brooklyn and moving back upstate. We live on a road called Big Toad Road, 156 Big Toad Road. Stop in if you're ever in the neighborhood. We built the house ourselves with our own little hands about 30 years ago, and we're going to miss New York City. I'm going to miss New York City. Mark's not going to miss New York City. We're going to miss EPA a lot. It was such a privilege working for both Lisa Jackson and Gina McCarthy, the ShePA. And I was really moved by something President Obama said last night. He said, "It has been the honor of my life to serve you. I won't stop. In fact, I will be right there with you as a citizen for all my remaining days." And all I can say to the President's eloquent words is, me too. I have so much respect and admiration and love for all of you. And despite the challenges ahead, I echo the words of the Apollo 13 movie. I believe in my heart that this is going to be your finest hour.